All right. Hey guys, welcome back to the Underground. This is Interactive Chat Volume 29, where we break down all the latest and greatest each and every Thursday around 6:30, sometimes a little bit later, depending on how fast I can get ready. Hope everyone's had a great week out there. There is some huge news today to break down and get to, which I'm super excited about. Of course, the MetaQuest 3 was announced today, and we're going to get into that, talk a little bit about that, what it means for PSVR2, and you smell that? You smell that? It smells like competition in the air. Let's go. Some much needed competition. What up, Blue Jew, the Underground Game Cat Elite Name Squad in the house, and SB, Mr. Lord Beavis. It's kind of cool that some of these games were announced are going to end up on PSVR2. Yes. So, MetaQuest, let's kick things off. What up, Nihilus Ryan? Kicked things off today with the announcement of the MetaQuest 3. More details on that soon. But they had, of course, the MetaQuest showcase where they focused on a lot of games. Now, after the Sony showcase, we kind of joked, but knowingly joked that, well, we'll see some more games here that are coming to PSVR 2, and lo and behold, we certainly have. A lot of these games that were shown today were actually confirmed either via the PlayStation YouTube channel or the social medias that a lot of these games are coming in. And I'm excited to break them down because this is what we needed, man. VR needed a little bit of some excitement, and I think, you know, I've always talked about how good competition is for platforms. Now I think with this announcement that Meta, I've always liked their marketing. I thought they've marketed the MetaQuest really, really well. And it always made me wish that Sony would kind of get back to their marketing, their old good marketing ways. I guess it's been hit or miss here and there, but when it comes to like the big spotlight. But this is ultimately a great thing for VR as a whole, and we all benefit from this. So huge congratulations to Meta announcing the Quest 3. But before we get into that and what it means for PlayStation VR, for VR as a whole, I want to talk about a little bit of news real quick because we did get some exciting news this week as well. What is up, Corey Massey, Jason Unknown? I will answer that later, my friend. What's good, Jay Gamer UK, Looper the Game Cat? Yo, good to see all of you. Heavy Brett, what's up, guys? So real quick, before we get into and break down the Meta Showcase, we had a surprising update this week from none other than our good friends over at Supermassive Games, who made Switchback VR. Turns out that they have actually been working on the update. Now, for those who don't know, Switchback was one of the one of the highest, most anticipated launch PSVR 2 games. It got pushed back, then it comes out, and it's blurry. It kind of underwhelms. My problem with the game was not so much the graphics as it was, the second half of the game. So I don't think there's any fixing that. However, I am really excited about this. They actually let's kick it over to them with their update on Switchback VR. And they say, we are reaching out today to provide an update regarding Switchback VR. At present, the development team for Switchback remain hard at work at creating a new patch for the game. This will be a larger update that not only addresses various reported issues, but also includes additional improvements to deliver an enhanced experience for all players. We've heard your feedback and requests for more information about the patch and would like to confirm the following fixes and improvements will be included. Fixes for blurred/low resolution visuals. Fixes for textures and assets popping. This is actually a pretty good one as well. In addition to the blurriness, it was, I always said, well, you could clean this up, but it's still, the textures and pop-in was pretty bad. So really interested to see this aspect of it for sure. Great reduced loading times. I didn't think the load times were atrocious or anything. Yeah, there were definitely some load times with the PS5. You know that there shouldn't have been, but it was not something that actually stuck out to me like that was horrible. But I'm glad that people were vocal about it because now it's going to make it even better. So there's a couple more things to break down here. Enhancement to visuals, virtual effects and lighting, improvements to textures and environment assets, and introduction to fidelity effects, super resolution, FSR, and foveated rendering. They say with the patch is now nearing the end of its development and we plan to release it as soon as it's ready. Our current aim is to release the patch at the end of June with the exact release date yet to be confirmed. So, regardless, man, shout out to the devs for getting this patch going. A lot of developers, could simply abandon, a game once it doesn't get the critical reception or, the commercial success that it should have. But I'm willing to give this game another chance. Like I said, I'm interested in checking it out with the new visuals, with the new textures. Maybe that can do a lot to enhance the experience. I like that they're adding foveated rendering and really taking advantage of the hardware. My biggest gripe, though, will likely remain, which is the second half of the game. I streamed this game. I streamed the first half, or I played the first half, and I was like, I don't know what all, this is pretty great. And then I was like, yes, it's blurry. Yes, it doesn't look great. But the game itself was pretty fun. But then the second half of the game hit, and it's just like, oh, you guys front loaded this game. The first couple levels were really the best part. And then after that, it just kind of goes downhill from a gameplay perspective. So it's not going to fix that. But I'm still, any reason to jump back and try and give this game a second chance, I'm down for. So that is basically the big news we got today. I'm looking forward to checking this out. I would recommend it maybe like on a deep sale or something, but like I said, a little bit of props to them for at least sticking with it and trying to make good on the situation. It's a shame this game didn't release at launch in this state. I still think it maybe would have had some issues with it. At the end of the day, would love Rush of Blood to be remastered. But hey, it's better than nothing, and I'll take it, I suppose. The Heavy Brett says that Survive game isn't amazing, but it has potential. Yeah, Survive is a zombie survival game that came out really end of the PSVR1 life cycle. And I liked it, man. I was enjoying it. Let's see. Corey Massey says Undead Citadel release date of June 8th. Let's take a look real quick. Is that for PSVR 2 though? June 8th. I don't know. So it's coming to Steam June 8th. The interesting thing about Undead Citadel is that it actually popped back up on the PlayStation Store. So that's obviously been a game that's a long awaited game. I'm really, really excited about it. I hope it's good. I've crossed my fingers it's going to be good. All we've really seen on Undead Citadel is really just the horde mode, and like that's really the least of what I'm excited to see. I want to see the main campaign and the story driven adventure. I'm not expecting like a huge story or anything, but I just generally like the structure of going beginning of the level to an end of the level, unless it's like open world, and finishing it. So I get kind of bored with like arena fighters, arena stuff. It's just not really my thing. They're fun to mess around with for a little bit. But they, after a while, they get a little boring. Even with like swordsmen and their amazing updates constantly, it's like I jump in for maybe 20 minutes, no more than an hour. Meanwhile, other games, I'll jump in for like several hours, like No Man's Sky when that gets an update, which released on Apple, by the way. I don't know if you caught that. Lewis Knight in the house tonight. What's up, my dude? Good to see you, man. Robert the Game Cat, thank you for being here. Appreciate all you guys hanging out today. Hope everyone's had a great week. Some good, exciting news, man. There's some good energy today, so I'm pretty excited about that. But yeah, so let's get into it, man. The Meta Showcase was today. Before the show, they announced the Quest 3 is coming this year, actually, later this year. So some good competition right off the bat for PlayStation VR2. And like I've said before, competition is good. We need it. And I think the PlayStation, or I think the Quest 3 holds some stiff competition. I think it is pretty good. So it's going to be $499, $500, so it's $50 less. Obviously doesn't have to run off a console. And then is wireless, which people really like. That's something I could give or take. I don't think we know anything about battery life yet, because that's kind of an issue with wireless right now. But still, it's a good marketing point. Another interesting thing is they said it is completely backwards compatible, which with the Quest 2. So it plays all Quest 2 games. Now, this is something that I think is a little bit more plausible. Excuse me. A little bit more plausible with the Quest 2 to Quest 3 than PSVR 1 to PSVR 2 is. It's still a good marketing tactic, obviously. But you saw when Quest 1 went to Quest 2, there was a lot of games that couldn't run on it, or like they were starting to release exclusives on Quest 2, and people were upset about that. And I get it, but it's obviously a little bit more complicated than some people let on, or some people believe. But I think moving forward, especially if the devices have a lot of similarities, it's going to make it easier. Like, I fully believe if and when there's a PSVR 3, that PSVR 2 library will transfer over a lot easier than the PSVR 1 to PSVR 2 was, because it's completely different tracking. It's there's just a lot of different factors. Obviously, it's something that the PSVR 2 would have greatly benefited from, and would have been nice to have. It's a big selling point for people. So good on them for having that. Plus, it kind of sticks it to Sony a little bit, which is nice. Says we do have backwards compatibility, but I think they have a very competitive device here, and I like it. I like that it's a very competitive device because I'm hoping that it really, puts some pressure on Sony now. There's one thing. So there's one thing when people go to the store and they have the option between a Quest 3 and a PlayStation VR 2. That one's going to be cheaper. That one's going to be wireless. That one's not going to require a PS5. So really, the only card that Sony has at this point is exclusives and games that cannot run on a Quest 3. That's basically all they have right now, because everything else, the Quest has a huge advantage over. It'll be interesting to see. There's lots of things that PSVR 2, other things that it needs as well, but it can probably receive in the form of updates and stuff. But so let's get down to business, brass tacks here. Like I said, this is great. This is great for competition, and I'm hoping they put some pressure on Sony to do something, because like I said, if I didn't know anything about VR and I was going to the store and I had the choice between the two, I wouldn't see a ton of reason to go for the PSVR 2 over the Quest 3 just yet. Of course, those of us that have been ingrained in the PlayStation ecosystem know after a long time that, the games, the exclusives and stuff like that come down the line. Obviously, it's more powerful too, so it's going to have some advantages for sure. Like, hey, this game's going to be on Quest 3, but the better version is going to be on PSVR2. So I love the give and take here. I think both sides have something to offer depending on your preference, and I'm pretty excited about it, man. It's good. It's good for VR as a whole. You know, Meta, as far as I know, Meta, and as far as I'm concerned, and PlayStation are really the only ones that are pushing VR forward to a more mainstream audience. These are the only two that have really given the biggest push to VR in general. And I think they've both done some exceptional things in playing their part in doing so. There's also this Apple headset. Nihilus Ryan says Apple has entered the chat. You know, there's also that coming too. I'm not sure. You know, to me, I kind of look at that kind of like the Quest Pro or something where it's like, look, the VR enthusiasts are definitely going to be excited about it. The people that are interested in the hardware and what it can do. You know, I think from that standpoint, but right now, when it comes to VR getting popular, there's two audiences that VR games and publishers and developers have to please. It's a little bit more difficult because they have to please both the VR enthusiasts, the ones that want every single game in, like, you know, mostly game in first person or really interactive from a technical aspect. What does it feature hardware wise? What can it enable from a hardware perspective? And that's one part of it. The second part of it is the gamer. So they have to find a way to please both the hardware people and the VR enthusiasts, the people that just care about VR. They don't really care what it does as long as it does everything, and they don't care about the depth of its use or the entertainment of it so much as just like what it's capable of. And then there's the gamers, which I think, like I said, Sony and Meta are doing the best job of pleasing that. I think the mainstream VR user is somebody that likes VR and somebody that likes games, somebody like me, somebody like you guys. That's what most of us are, is we love VR and we love gaming. And so these are definitely the best place to do that. I think at the end of the day, I don't really know with what Meta 3 will, or Quest 3 will offer that PSVR 2 won't. But it will be interesting to see in the long run, like, you know, if they have exclusives, if Sony has exclusives, really the people that are going to win are people that own both. That's going to be maybe potentially the best case scenario. However, I don't know. We'll see. With a shared library, and it's going to be interesting to see like who offers what in a different way. But yeah, the Apple headset, I have no idea about it. I don't really have any interest in it. I'm not interested in really expensive advanced VR tech that doesn't have software with it. It's got to have both. But so anyways, the games, guys, we got a slew of new games. Let's go ahead and get a couple of these out of the way. I don't remember what order these were shown in, so we're just going to start off with Stranger Things. Now, this is honestly something I'm not super excited about or very interested in, but it's obviously based off of the popular Netflix series. I did like the show a lot. I watched season 4 or something. I love season 1, season 2, season 3. I was like, and then season 4. Sal says my thoughts on the showcase was that it's going to look good on PSVR 2. Hyped. Let's go, bro. Yeah, you rock, dude. You rock. Thank you for the donation, man. Sal always using the Streamlabs donation too. I appreciate you using that, man. 100% goes to me versus like YouTube. But that's besides the point. I'm just happy y'all are here having a good time. But I do appreciate the extra effort and support. But anyways, Stranger Things game, you know, at the end of the day, I feel like this will sell a lot. I mean, I think this will sell pretty well just because it's attached to the Stranger Things IP. People go, oh, I like Stranger Things. I like VR. Let me try this. I also like the risk that they took of you becoming Vecna in the game and playing as the bad guy. I'm not usually one for like these spin-offs things, but that's kind of interesting at least. Usually when there is no Stranger Things game mainline IP that it's like, oh, this is a different take on it. Looper, thank you so much for the donation. But yeah, so this is coming fall 2023. A lot of the stuff shown today is coming 2023, which is nice. And yeah, I'll check it out. I'm not really excited about this one, but hey, I'll give it a go. Looper says RE8 and No Man's Sky are already on Mac, just not VR yet. What up, Stingray? What up, Steve Irie? Wolveraza? Oh, I can't wait to talk about that one, Wolf. I sure can't, but there's a couple other to get through here first. The next one was End Dreams Ghostbusters. Now, the significance of this, really, there's not a whole lot more to say about this one, other than I'm excited about playing Ghostbusters in VR. And this was a story trailer that they unveiled. It's nice to see that it has some kind of story thing going on with it. It's like some guy that was rejected by the Ghostbusters, and then now he wants to take revenge. And but really, I think the fun from this is just getting to play as Ghostbusters. Obviously it's multiplayer, there's customization, and then exploring San Francisco. It's a pretty cool concept, but the exciting part about this announcement is that we finally got a release window of fall 2023. So it's going to be coming out this fall. And man, I mean, I'm excited to play this. It's by End Dreams, who makes really good games. They're also making Synapse, which is, only like a month or so away, a month and 3 days away. So really excited about that. They've been busy making all this stuff. So when I look at this game, I don't see, this game supposedly is made in Unreal Engine 5. I'm not really seeing any crazy graphics or anything. It looks like it's kind of like designed for Quest 2. So I'm really interested in seeing what the PSVR 2 version is going to look like, because right now, Meta have been doing the majority of the marketing for this one. So we've only seen it mostly on the Quest. And so I'm excited to see, knowing End Dreams, it's going to look better on PSVR 2. So I hope there's a significant jump, because, Ghostbusters is a cool IP, and, I'd rather not play a cartoony version of it. I'd rather play a strong graphical version of it, if possible. I'll still play it. I'll still enjoy it. It should be fun. Hopefully the gameplay mechanics are good. Now, we had another interesting one. Let me check off the list here, make sure I got these. Now, this is where things start to get a little bit interesting. Fast Travel Games has unveiled a new installment in the Masquerade series, who, of course, they made... What the heck was that other game called? I don't even remember, because I didn't like it very much. I like the concept of it, but this seems to be much more promising. This is, of course, Vampire the Masquerade Justice, also coming in 2023. Now, this is interesting. This obviously is set in the World of Darkness universe, similar to that was. They've got some partnership going with them. But this is seems to be at least a little bit more going on than the previous game. This is an adventure title where you play as a vampire, and there is stealth, and you're basically trying to get revenge on someone that murdered your sire. But yeah, so this is also confirmed coming late 2023. Let's kick it over to the PlayStation blog here. Let's see here. That's where I was. Vampire the Masquerade Justice is a new PSVR2 adventure. Can you guys see good enough? Yeah, it's pretty good. We'll make it a little bit bigger. Vampire Masquerade Justice is a new PSVR2 adventure RPG coming late 2023. I'm interested to see what kind of RPG elements. Maybe we'll find out here. Be a stealthy vampire in a dark and mysterious Venice. This is by Eric Odeldahl, creative director at Fast Travel Games. Says, hi, my name is Eric Odeldahl, and I'm a creative director at VR game developer and publisher, Fast Travel Games. We have just revealed our next game to the world. It is a PSVR2 adventure RPG set in the rich story world of Vampire the Masquerade. In it, you play Justice, a vampire of clan Banu Hakim, who travels from New York to a dark and mysterious Venice, Italy, to hunt down the perpetrator of their sire's final death. With Vampire the Masquerade Justice, we set out to make a game that fully immerses you in the role of a stealthy vampire, taking advantage of all the strengths of PSVR 2. One thing that truly excites us about the PSVR 2 is the adaptive triggers and the haptic abilities available in both controllers and the headset itself. As a vampire, you'll have access to all kinds of tools that help you stay hidden from your enemies, or when necessary, surprise and dispose of them with lethal force. I like that option. You get to sneak up on your victims to drink their blood, unleash powerful disciplines, and tear them into pieces, or fade away into invisibility before their eyes. You decide how to take on each scenario, and we make full use of the wide range of haptics to fully immerse you in the experience. And now, of course, they show you a picture here of you sucking the blood out of somebody. I wonder if there's going to be, I imagine there's going to maybe be some headset haptics there that could be pretty cool. As a vampire, you do have superhuman strength and speed, but you are not safe from harm. The enemies you encounter will put up a great challenge for you, forcing you to take advantage of your powers. The combination of stealth and fast attacks take you far, but you can also rely on your powers of persuasion as well. Sometimes in a dialogue with an NPC, the threat of violence will unlock new paths for you. Very interesting. Here we see he's got a weapon here, like some kind of crossbow. It's, I don't know, it's got like a knife handle, a kitchen knife, butter knife handle, steak knife. Dark and mysterious Venice. The Venice we're inviting you to is not the city of love you see on postcards, but a dark, mysterious place where unseen things happen in the shadows, where plans are hatched and vast conspiracies are perpetrated among the undead. The last few years, there has been unrest among the Hakata, a vampire clan that has Venice as one of its bases of operation. Justice, played by you, is cast into a conflict between fierce vampires who fight for power and their souls. Regardless of your strategy, every step you take and undertaking you complete will bring you closer to the center of the mystery and allow you to grow in power to eventually become the most powerful vampire. Goes on to say this title will focus on strong narrative, but also reward exploration and experimentation. Yeah, so pretty good stuff here, man. Now, let me say a couple things here. These guys, I can't remember the last game they made. I think it was called, I can't remember the game, the stealthy game, where you explore the Barclay Mansion. And, you know, when it came out, it kind of underwhelmed a little bit. I don't think it was called Vampire Masquerade. Somebody might have said it here. I'm more interested in I'm curious to see what kind of RPG elements they have here. I'm interested in the exploration. Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife. Thank you, Looper. No wonder I couldn't remember the name because it's a freaking complex name. I'm much more interested in I'm curious to see how the stealth is going to turn out here because honestly, I did not like the stealth in Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife, but all the other stuff looks cool. And the other difference here is that you're playing as a freaking vampire, which is pretty cool. we don't get a lot of vampire games, especially not in VR. So I'm pretty excited about, taking on that role as a vampire, and sneaking around. When you're sneaking around as a vampire, it could be a little bit cooler than just sneaking around as a spectral being that can just get wrecked by bigger, scarier spectral beings. But I like some of the mechanics. The city looks pretty nice. I'm interested to see what kind of enhancements it has. They talk about it having haptics in the controllers and headset, which would be nice. But yeah, man, I'm definitely looking forward to this. I love that it's something different. It's nice. It seems like it's got a little bit of adventure to it, which I'm very excited about. So, although I'm not super, I'm very curious to see how they execute the stealth this time around. Everything else is looking really, really great. It looks very atmospheric. I did actually like the atmosphere, and a couple different things about Wraith the Oblivion Afterlife. So lots of potential here. Could be good. This is coming 2023. I think let's see if it says here. I think it said fall. Definitely 2023 though, and it's coming to PlayStation VR2. I love it, man. I love all the announcements today. Love getting a bunch of new stuff. Let's see here. So next we had a very big surprise, and that is a remake of a game from like 1993, back in the CD-ROM days. And this is The Seventh Guest, which is, I did not have this on my showcase bingo card today. This also is like a kind of adventure, a mystery adventure. This is probably more of a mystery deal here. And this is based off of an old game, which was really, really popular. I played it a little bit, not much. But I know that I jumped back into it to like revisit it, because I do like to go back and play some retro games. And it has not aged well. It has not aged well at all. So it's exciting to at least get a remake of a classic like this. But it is also coming 2023, being published by Vertigo Games. Man, Vertigo Games, some of these studios, I mean, got to give them mad props, because they have been busy with lots of stuff here. And that's not a name I've heard in a while. Yeah. Let's see what they have to say over on their website. Experience a spine-tingling mystery like no other. The iconic mystery game that chilled you to the bone in the 90s, The Seventh Guest, has been brought back to life with cutting-edge VR technology that delivers an atmospheric and haunting story. Explore the foreboding mansion, solve challenging puzzles, my favorite, and uncover its dark secret. The Seventh Guest VR is the ultimate mystery adventure, and it's time for you to experience it yourself. 6 guests have been welcomed to the foreboding mansion, but something sinister is at play. A beloved, so it says, relive the original story is written by Matthew J. Costello from a whole new perspective. The Seventh Guest VR brings back characters like Martine Burden, Brian Dutton, Edward and Eleanor Knox, and others. Time to discover who is the seventh guest. Immerse into a visceral and haunting VR story told through innovative and cutting-edge ghostly volumetric video capture with 3D live action graphics and exquisite performances. So in the old game, when you would like solve puzzles and stuff or explore the game, there would be these like video captures of like people, of like actors and stuff. And they'd be like kind of invisible, and they'd be trying to tell. They kind of, as you went on, like you would discover more and more about the story. I love that a new mystery game. That's the big thing I think you should be excited about the most. It's it looks really nice. But I do like the setting. I do like that there is like some mystery, some storytelling, and then of course my favorite, puzzles. Really, really glad this is coming to PSVR 2. Indeed. Let's see here. Let's see what else the article has to say here, though. Immersive puzzle VR gameplay. If just in case this isn't big enough for you guys to see, let's blow it up a little bit. All new handcrafted puzzles, carefully redesigned for VR. All puzzles are meaningful to the story and rooted in lore with recognizable aesthetic elements, paying homage to the original. Yeah, this is one thing that made the puzzles cool in this game, was, like I said, as you would kind of solve them and stuff, they were kind of tied into the story, and it would kind of like, as you progress through the game, you would also learn more about the characters and the story, which was nice. The equally beloved and feared Haunted Mansion comes alive around you through high-end visuals and VR-powered optical illusions, along with an all-new adaptive soundtrack inspired by the original and positional audio. I love adaptive soundtracks, which are cool. Look at this before and after. Look at how that, I mean, it's pretty cool. Let's see. What is this? Oh, whoop, whoop, whoop. It's just showing you kind of the difference here. But good stuff. More from the Seventh Guest VR. These are just some screenshots here. The artwork and everything, concept art looks gorgeous. Oh, so they do have, this is what they're talking about. These do look like actual live action video captures of the people. So they're doing it in the same vein. I don't think we've seen anything like this in VR. I wonder how much of this is going to be just like digital, or if they're actually, they did mention that they're going for like a live action look. That's going to be very interesting, having the hybrid mix of the volumetric video capture and then just like 3D live action. That's pretty sweet. I like that. I dig it. How do I get out of this thing? Go away. And then of course that is being published by Vertigo Games. Anything else for us here in the press pack? Oh wow. There's a lot of stuff here. Anywho, the Seventh Guest, man. I know a lot of retro gamers, a lot of older folk are definitely going to be excited about this one. I was a little young when this game came out, but I still got to play it a little bit later because I am a retro gamer and do love me some good old fashioned retro games. All right, guys. Now it is the big one, the big surprise, huge news of the day. Bulletstorm, baby. I cannot believe, again, when I had my showcase bingo, I cannot believe that this was announced. So Bulletstorm is a first-person shooter that came out in, I think it was around 2010, something, and came out on consoles. It's been remastered a bunch of times. This is like one of those games that I consider is like super underrated. It's something I would definitely call a hidden gem. It's kind of like, I like to compare it a lot to like Vanquish or something, like Vanquish or Lost Planet, where it's just a kick-ass game. Now, this is a really, really exciting announcement. The biggest announcement from today, definitely. It's being made by Incuvo and People Can Fly, which is really interesting because I think Incuvo, if I recall correctly, I think it was Incuvo that like purchased. No, it was People Can Fly that purchased or like absorbed Incuvo Studio, and so we talked about this years ago about them acquiring Incuvo Studios. And then how they were going to have a focus on VR games. We talked about the potential of something like this happening. I did not think it was going to actually happen. So it's really, really cool. But it is a fantastic shooter. with some really cool elements. I love that it shows that they've got the kicking. They've got your leash, which is like this thing you can whip people with. Really, really good gameplay, and it looks gorgeous, man. Let's get this up on. Let's blow this up here, because this looks really, really gorgeous. And when it comes to, like, this is a good example of like an old school AAA game that can be remastered for new headsets. But you'll see a lot of the mechanics here. There's lots of guns. There's lots of weapons. The dialogue in this game is absolutely awful, which may turn some people off, but it doesn't matter because giant enemies and lots of action. It is a fantastic shooter. It had really, really good visuals, really good gameplay, and man, this is going to be badass in VR. I love that of course, you have to have the iconic whip. The leash is, I think, what it was called. And you can see they've got manual reloading and stuff, which is really nice. Basic VR mechanics that we know and love. Look at these environments, though. These environments look glorious. Even if they're, had to be tampered with a little bit or like adjusted a little bit. For the most part, it looks, it was like a PS3 game. So I'm curious to see if this is like how they did this, like if this is just completely redesigned from the ground up, or if they just took all the assets and rebuilt it. I don't think I saw a ton of info on this yet, but it looks to be the full game, and this is pretty sweet, man. This is a huge announcement. I love games like this, good action games with gorgeous graphics and huge monsters. I want to see the Wheel of Death. There's like some really iconic big monsters in this that are pretty sweet, but this is huge. Kamara Red says, I know Vanquish. Dude, I love Vanquish. I love Lost Planet. I like Bulletstorm a lot. There's a lot of hidden gems throughout the last 10, 15 years that really they just nailed the gameplay. And this is one of those games. Like, it maybe got overlooked because of the timing it came out. It came out kind of late on the life cycle. It had to follow games like Skyrim and stuff, I believe. So it's like by that time, it just didn't get the attention it deserves, if I remember correctly. This game has stunning set pieces, though. I cannot wait to see a lot of these set pieces in VR. I never beat this game either, so I'm excited to actually like go back and beat it this time around. But yeah, stunning set pieces that are really nice. Huge enemies, lots of variety of enemies, and I love that there's like. I wonder if they show the gore system in this too. If it's still got the gore, where you could kind of just destroy people in several different ways. You could like shoot them in half or like whip them in half and stuff. I don't know if they show any of that in this, but it had a pretty good gore system. Like I've always said, I love gore in video games. I think it makes it a lot better. This is huge though, man. Huge announcement. And this is something that I would expect from like the Sony showcase, but I'm super glad that it got shown today because this is a big deal. This will be really, really awesome. Oh yeah, there's like the bullet thing, following the bullet and stuff. So they don't show as much of the gore system that I'm seeing before. You can kick though, which is nice. I wonder if you can like slide and kick. So it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different than the original mechanically, as you would expect, built for VR, but still pretty sweet. Good announcement today, man. Definitely in my opinion, the big announcement today. Although, like I said, lots of good stuff here. Seventh Guest remasters, pretty big deal. Bulletstorm, huge. This is also supposed to be coming 2023. I think it says it's aimed for 2023. Ghostbusters coming fall. Stranger Things fall. Switchback next month. Endeavor One in the house tonight. What up, man? Says, does the meta hype please you, Shogun? I am very pleased with the meta hype. It was a good job, man. Like I said before, I think when it comes to VR, like meta destroys Sony in terms of like marketing. Sony, I'm pretty much used to them just like using the PlayStation blog at this point. It's like I don't know. I hope that it would be interesting to see if now Sony's not, they're pretty smart. So it will be interesting to see if maybe they were waiting for Meta to do their showcase first to maybe reveal some more things. The Quest 3 is going to present some stiff competition. So they're going to need something to convince people to buy a PSVR 2 over a Quest 3. They're going to need something. If they actually are competent and smart enough to want to sell more PSVR 2s, they're going to need something. And I'm very curious if they got it in them to show some stuff later on before the Quest 3 comes out to try and take some of that momentum away. Because right now, they're obviously, the Quest is the huge competition for them. I don't think the Apple headset thing, I don't think the Quest Pro is, but Quest 2 and Quest 3 are absolutely, I know a lot of people say it's not direct competition. It's bullshit. They are in competition with each other. Most people are either going to go buy a Quest 3 or buy a PSVR 2. Everybody, the same ecosystem, they love VR. So before we get out of here for the day, guys, good stuff. Really, really enjoyed the Meta Showcase. Love the announcements. What are you guys saying here? Oh yeah, the Ubisoft Forward is like June 14th or something, where we're gonna see the Assassin's Creed. We're gonna see Assassin's Creed. We don't have confirmation if that's coming to PlayStation VR 2 yet. All I know is that is 100% coming to Quest. I actually have some friends that are working on that game, but I haven't asked them if they're developing it for other things as well. They probably couldn't tell me. I'm gonna go have to pay them a visit though and be like, "Hey, buddy, how you been?" Let's see here. Assassin's Creed VR would be pretty cool. I would definitely be interested. I just think, when it comes down to it, popular IPs, even lesser popular IPs like Bulletstorm, are great for VR, man. That's what people want. I tweeted about this recently, I think indies and single A, double A studios are critical for helping design new mechanics, helping they're really, really important. But when it comes to actually selling headsets, there's nothing more effective than big IPs, big games. Those are what sell headsets. And then the indie games are great for people that already have headsets. That's just how it works right now. Until VR is more and more popular, that's just the way it's gonna be. MRI Gamer, thank you for the donation. Says, will you mock Miles when he tries Cosmo Dread tomorrow? It depends on when he plays it. I'm not gonna mock Miles because Miles is my friend. Who, by the way, he's been making some special trips, which I'm sure you'll hear about very soon, maybe tomorrow, on Gamescast Live. You'll get to hear what Miles has been up to. But I look forward to hearing or seeing, if I can, him playing Cosmodread. We've had some pretty good releases here. Things are about to get even more interesting. Pixel Rip 1978 is around the corner. Skater VR Skaters around the corner. Synapse. I'm really excited about this. MRI Gamer says it's fun to mock your friends. True. And Deborah one says not enough meatballs in in Cosmodread. Yeah, that's true. Wolveraza, but Sony has investment all over the place while Meta just concerned with VR not worth. Yeah, Sony has definitely a tougher position to deal with because they have to both please VR gamers and not piss off non-VR gamers, which is kind of why they're doing the thing that they're doing. I think they can do it. They just, I don't know. They have to just do it right. The first state of play where we got to see VR, the first PlayStation VR2 announcements, I thought they executed that perfectly. It was like Resident Evil 4 remake. Oh, by the way, content in development. And then it was like Horizon, No Man's Sky, Resident Evil Village, and whatever else. They nailed that, and nobody complained about VR during that one. After that, however, they have not replicated that marketing ever since. So unfortunately, it was more of kind of a one-off than it was what I had hoped for, which is them, actually knowing how to give people what they want. Fun fact, it is proven over and over that when you give people what they want, they will buy it and they will like it and they will support it and you will make money. I don't know why so many companies are still behind on this to some degree. It's I don't know. Maybe things are just not as obvious as I'd like, but it seems like it's obvious, but it's not. But things like even like in the movie industry, things like that Sonic movie show you that when you give people what they want, they respond well and they give you money, and that's what you want, right? You want money. All right, what's going on here? Sony needs VR studios. Sony acquired Firesprite. I'm interested to see what they're working on next, whether it be some adventure thing or obviously the big hope is Twisted Metal in VR. That would be amazing. Let's see. Y'all are having some deep conversations here. I don't even want to end the stream so you can finish your debates. Let's see. I think you guys were talking about the different funding. When Sony gets a... Yeah, I don't know. I mean, things overall are looking fine, man. I don't think they need to lower the price. I think a price cut would help, but that's not what PSVR2 needs. There's only one thing that both platforms need, and it's games. That's all. That's the main thing you're going to sell people on with VR. Meta does a great job of selling people on the hardware itself. They do a better job on that. And then Sony's real strength here is games. But you saw with the Meta Quest 2, the biggest jump it had in popularity was when it had Resident Evil 4. That was literally when one of the first times that it actually broke through to the mainstream audience and was like, whoa, like, I need a VR. People went out and bought headsets for Resident Evil 4. So the timing has a lot to do with people's number one interest in the Quest recently was Grand Theft Auto. Something like that gets people to buy VR. Yeah, and of course people want Half-Life Alyx on PSVR 2, which I think would be great. I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon or if at all. I think the showcase was likely the best place to do that, and they didn't. But yeah, again, they have other ways of delivering big titles that they can deliver on the platform. I know a lot of people would love to see some comebacks of some old games too, like Twisted Metal, like Killzone, like Resistance, especially with Sony needing some shooters right now. They seem to be wanting to focus on this live service shooter thing. You'd think that they would try to use some kind of popular IP like that, that's like a beloved franchise, and bring that back. They should soft reboot the hell out of it. Let's see here. But guys, this is good stuff though. Really, really excited. Bulletstorm, man. Bulletstorm. Cannot wait for that. Definitely one of my more anticipated games now. And I love the variety here. I love the mix of adventure titles when you play as a vampire. I needed some variety here because I do feel like there's been a little bit of an abundance of just horror games and like cheap ports and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, this thing can do more than that. But it's nice to see a little bit of variety coming from indie developers are really holding this thing together, and can't wait. I want to see more though. I want to see it. This is PSVR2 has been out 3 months, almost 4 months, maybe. Yeah, 3 something. And so we're just at the beginning of the life cycle. The next, really, we're going to start seeing, especially from both Meta and Sony, the next year, 2 years, I'd say a year from now, things really should start picking up like crazy too. Of course, there'll be tons of awesome stuff before then. But yeah, man. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in today. This was Volume 9 of Interactive Chat. Good to see all of you. Silver Nexus should be a TV show about Twisted Metal. Yeah, there's 100% a Twisted Metal game in development. We just don't know if it's VR or not. We don't know. Gabriel Double Floor, Licensed Meow Game Cat, Shades of Gray Matter, good to see you. Bad Robo, Shapeshifter, Mustang, all you guys, man. Good to see you, man. And yeah. So tune in tomorrow to Gamescast Live. I think it'll be interesting. Should be seeing what Miles has been up to lately. And no Saturday Night live stream this week, but hopefully I might do something else, have some fun. Gonna take a week off. Don't worry, you can go watch last week where I screamed my head off with Cosmo Dread. Good stuff, man. Well, guys, you have a wonderful rest of the night, and I'll see you again very, very soon. You have a wonderful night. Keep rocking and rolling, y'all. Take it easy.